Hi, everybody. My name is Brendan. I'm one of the co-founders of PoolTogether. I'm really excited to be here today because I've got some really fun things to present to you. Just talk about how DeFi can bring a lot of good to this world and how we're bringing some of these existing products into the blockchain space and why blockchain is going to be so much more applicable to it. I want to thank Chainlink for inviting me. It's really good to be here. I'd also like to thank Dustin, our MC. You've been doing a great job so far. So let's get into it. This is a fairly expansive title, I know. But what I want to highlight is that right now there is so much degen activity in the space. There are people that are staking their money on these protocols and farming these tokens with incredibly high APRs, getting rugged. It's both very lucrative and very dangerous. But what's going to happen is that DeFi is going to mature and it will become much more safe than what it currently is. But I'm sure it'll still be just as lucrative. And what I want to point out is that PoolTogether is DeFi, but it's not degen. We are all about encouraging financial well-being by making savings fun. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover prize savings. We're going to cover who currently offers prize savings, the history of them. Then we're going to intro PoolTogether, an intro what is PoolTogether, talk about why PoolTogether. So again, this is the why blockchain portion of it. And then we're going to talk about what's next. So let's get started. So what are prize savings? Prize savings at its core is a bunch of people depositing their funds into an interest-bearing account. And then that interest is periodically awarded as prizes. So it gamifies savings. It basically occurs in 3 steps. Users deposit, yield accrues. And in our case, in PoolTogether's case, we have a lot of different yield sources. We started with Compound, which is over-collateralized lending platform. It's very, very secure. We now have Aave, Yearn, Idle, Mstable. The list goes on, and we're just continuing to expand. And that yield that accrues is then awarded as prizes. And so typically our prize pools are weekly. They can be daily. They can basically be any arbitrary time span, but a weekly cadence is nice. So every day there's a new prize that's awarded. And this is in stark contrast to traditional lotteries. The yield is the prize, not the deposits themselves. And so at any time, you can withdraw your deposit and get your money back. And if you've won a prize, you can also get your prize back. In contrast, traditional lotteries, and we can see here the Joker burning that pile of money, much to the lament of the mob that surrounds him. In 2017, Americans spent $71 billion on lotteries. That is money burned. And in 2015 Federal Reserve study, they found that 46% of respondents would have a tough time coming up with $400. So, and not only that, but lottery usage is highest among those with relatively little savings. So it's a really toxic behavior, unfortunately. But we can use this psychology to our advantage. The psychology of saving is really hard. Planning for the future is hard. It's much easier to conceive of having a shot at $100 now than $100 accrued over X number of years. It's a much simpler value prop saying, hey, you could win $100 versus, well, we have a 0.5% APR over the next 4 years fixed rate or what have you. It's much more simple and much more exciting to just have a prize straight up. And additionally, there's a chance of having an outsized gain. So you could win other people's interest. And so if we look at the risk return profile, here's some different, so you can see on the left axis, we have return. So higher return, risk is on the bottom. As you go to the right, it's higher risk. And so we've got 4 different types of assets here. We've got your savings account, so very low risk, low return. Then we have bonds, then we have stocks, and then finally your friend's startup. And 90% of startups fail. That is very high risk, potentially very high reward though at the same time. The cool thing about no loss lotteries is that they exist at the top left of this graph. They're no risk or almost no risk and a potentially very high return. You're capturing the interest in all these different funds. So no loss lotteries, it's not a new concept. And just for the uninitiated, no loss lotteries, it's another name for prize linked savings accounts. We've simplified it to just prize savings because we think those are just the important words. You have prizes and you save your money. But many of these exist already. And one of the early ones in the United States was run by Commonwealth. And Commonwealth is a financial innovation incubator that benefits vulnerable people. In 2009, they launched Save to Win, which was just that. It was a prize-linked savings account. And in that year, I believe they had maybe a few dozen credit unions on board. So this is a credit union specific product. And they went from 8.5 million in the first year to 165 million 10 years later, as of 2019. And now it's offered by 234 credit unions across 25 states. So it has very broad reach. There is another product that was launched much more recently, which has been much more successfully productized, however, probably has better marketing than credit unions. And that is the Walmart Money Card. And so the Walmart Money Card is a reloadable debit card. You can buy it for, let's say, $500. You can load it up using any payment mechanism. And it offers perks at Walmart. So you might get 3% off on this product, or receive some different discounts. And you also earn a small savings interest rate. But what they did in 2016 is that they partnered with Green Dot and Commonwealth to offer prize savings accounts. And they call these vaults. Users can place up to $500 of their money in a vault, which is a segregated savings area. So when they spend the debit card, it doesn't take from the vault. They have to explicitly move it back and forth. And the vault has a chance to earn prizes. After they launched this program, they had way more traction with the money card. This was exciting. This was fun. In the first year, they did 1 billion in volume through the vault alone. And so it really shows that with proper productization, this can be a very compelling product. Now, what is the oldest one? What's the oldest prize savings account? Premium bonds, UK premium bonds. They've been around for 160 years. And this is a system where anyone who holds a bank account in the United Kingdom can deposit into the government-run UK premium bonds. And these bonds offer a 0% savings rate, but an effective 1% rate that's given out as prizes. So, I mean, it's pretty low, all things considered. But in 2020, they had 86 billion pounds deposited. And they have 25 million customers. That's just under 40% of the UK. So the traction there is incredible. In total, they have 203 billion in assets under management. That's 203 billion pounds. And each year they give away 2.2 billion pounds in prizes. And those prizes are tax-free, of course, being government run. But what's really cool about UK premium bonds, and this is something we're starting to allude to, is that 90% of the interest that's raised on those deposits goes to public goods, goes to government funding, goes to roads, hospitals, infrastructure. And so you can see here that they're also soon going to be offer a green savings bond. And so you will be able to decide with your deposits where you want that extra interest to go. It turns this into almost a philanthropic process, as well as a fun prize savings game. And so the UK program is very impressive. It's very well run. They really stress ethical deposits, ethical spending, and they have a great online presence that makes it really easy to check to see if you've won, as well as, of course, a strong notification program. I have a grandmother who lives in the UK, and she's so excited when she gets those emails that she's won 25 pounds. I mean, it's not even that much, but it's the excitement of the winning that we really want to sort of tackle. And so enter PoolTogether. PoolTogether is a protocol for prize savings. Our goal is to encourage financial well-being by making saving fun. And our vision ultimately is that PoolTogether becomes the protocol that all prize savings programs use. Being a blockchain protocol, it has some serious advantages. The first is that it's audible. So every aspect, you can see where every penny flows through the system. Every single smart contract that custodies funds, you can see the code, you can see how it runs, you can see upcoming changes. It's fully transparent, and that means you can audit the entire thing and know where all the money's going. The second part that's really important is that it's provably fair. The UK premium bonds have this old ancient machine they called Ernie. And I mean, has anyone verified whether it exists? I mean, it's run by the government, right? So I guess we have to trust that. But with our system, we use the Chainlink VRF, which is a modern cryptographic technique to generate random numbers. And we actually use the Chainlink keepers to trigger these rewards. And all of that is totally public. It's verifiable on chain. The actual winner selection is done on chain, again, using transparent code. So you can see how the entire thing works. Being blockchain, it's also globally accessible. We have customers everywhere. We actually have a pretty strong contingent from China, from the United States, from Europe, from Latin America, pretty much everywhere. And we've really striven to offer our product globally. And we have over 10 translations. And the translations are great also because they've been submitted by the community. The community's really owned this and stepped up to, say, provide the Turkish translation, Italian, and so on and so forth. The other thing that's great about this code is that it's non-custodial. I mean, I did mention the custody of the contracts in the sense that the smart contract escrows the funds, but there's no person in the middle. There's no trusted intermediary. Again, being blockchain, it's non-custodial. This is really powerful. And it's also extensible. And so we all know office pools, right? Office pools for tickets, for lottery tickets. People get together, they pool their funds, they go and buy tickets, and that actually increases their chances of winning, but they get to split the prize. They have to split the prize. And so in that same way, when you deposit into PoolTogether, you're getting tickets back, but these tickets are fully liquid assets that you can then go and deposit into what we call a pod contract. And pods are just like the office pools. People combine their tickets together, you get a higher chance to win, and then you split the prize. So this kind of extensibility is really cool because it's totally permissionless. You don't need to rely on, let's say, the governance to approve it or the PoolTogether core team or anything like that. You can just do it. And then finally, as I mentioned, it's user owned. So PoolTogether is governed by its own users. Your deposits will accrue pool tokens, and that will earn you voting rights, the ability to propose changes, and it really democratizes the system. So what kind of progress have we made? Well, since the launch of V3 last October, we've had 175 million, or we currently have 175 million deposits. We have 5 million plus in annualized prizes, and we have over 20,000 users globally. The users is interesting because the vast majority of them have like $100 in it. You know, it's like being a no loss lottery. It's like the Beastie Boys said, you just got to be in it to win. So a lot of people, I think, just make sure they have a toe in the pool just to make sure that they have a chance to win. So what's next? What's PoolTogether tackling next? Well, something we're really excited about is funding public goods. Just as we've seen with the UK premium bonds, there's so much that can be done with giving people the choice in contributing to a cause that they're aligned with. And being globally accessible, we can do global contributions, say, to, for example, climate change. And so recently we launched a prize splits feature that allows us to divert a portion of the interest to a cause or to an address of governance's choice. And so we would love to follow the premium bonds model by funding public goods. And this has been asked of us for a long time, so we're glad we finally delivered. And then finally, scaling. This is really exciting because we want to make sure that everyone gets those dopamine hits. Just like my grandma winning 25 pounds in the UK, we want to scale the number of winners. And so if PoolTogether, if our USDC prize pool grew from 100 million to 1 billion, and it still only had 5 winners, that would be a real problem. That means a lot of people would have to wait a long time to get any prizes. And so with the upcoming version of PoolTogether V4, we're going to have virtually limitless prizes. We're going to be able to configure as many as we need. So we can still have the headline prize, but then we can have this wonderful long tail that rewards many more people. The other side to scaling, the other dimension, of course, is the cost of transactions. And so at its core, we've striven to be no loss as the protocol in terms of the protocol level. But we know that users depositing have to pay transaction fees. And so what we're looking at is going full multi-chain, full L2, and broadening the reach of all prize pools across these different systems to offer users sub penny, ideally, transactions. And so this is all coming very soon, and we're really excited to be launching this. And Chainlink will be an essential part of that to both reward the pools and offer the random number generation. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening. That concludes the presentation. If you want to find out more, go to PoolTogether.com. My name is Brendan, and yeah, happy to answer any questions. Reach out on Twitter.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Brendan. Really appreciate it. The work you're doing and getting people, in the game and onboarded to this no loss system is so fascinating to watch. I'm really, really excited to the next steps and how you scale and, to see the interactions with the users over time. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, Dustin. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody.
Brendan.